just scratched my arm on a zip tie that I have on my mic. Ow! Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Why is there a prediction already? I see you are all ready for the absolute frustration that is going to occur with this game. Gabriel, Blackfire, Asher, Migusan. Hello. Pinata. Welcome, everybody. Konbanwa. Indeed. Alright, thank you for the follow. Time to cut. I have it on here to keep the wires and stuff from the mic. I need to sand it down or something so it's not so rough. Anyway, I don't know if I've been excited for this, honestly. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. You know, I'm not wanting to play it, but remembering what happened before.
That small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath.
Sholmes.
In time, there came from
it's
the
too
ventilator
frustrating.
a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound.
I can't wait for what else I'm gonna get right but wrong, you know?
You see it, Wilson? He yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view.
We'll see.
Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering.
I always think that with games like this, you really have to. Of course, Keegan.
Perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe.
I always think that you have to pay close attention to the environment and stuff, and I'm still angry about that steak. Wow, a snake!
Adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most
There's
terrible
two snakes,
speckled
isn't there?
band I had ever seen.
God, I want a different chair. Also, Nagustan, your name's too long. It's going into the subscriber portion. Let's see, on board the steamship Bura. Wait, what year was this? 1987? Damn, I thought we were in the 1990s already. I thought this was...
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events...
I thought this was several years after.
Murder. Pray,
wait.
do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery.
What?
In
What
his
is
final
this?
moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle.
Who is this Joker?
So the victim was a Russian man then, and the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time.
I want everything he's analyzing to be absolutely wrong.
And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Why does he have a gun? What is this?
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident.
What is happening?
Him himself, I would venture.
Who is this man?
Well, what have we here?
He ain't got any teeth in his mouth.
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
Is this guy German?
No one must touch before maritime police
No.
come. We must wait.
What?
That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
I'm very confused as to what's happening here.
This is murder.
We're watching a movie now.
From inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
Like this paper right here.
The culprit is in there.
No worries, Pinata.
Who are you, and where have you come from?
That's what I
I'm
want.
a great British consultant detective.
You know,
Only one in
Beastany,
the
that's
world.
basically just me playing this game, isn't it?
Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Sure. Not in that manner, though. Not like that, though. So I know Sherlock Holmes is trademarked. Or I don't know if it was trademarked exactly, but I remember there was like some legal battle between I don't know, either the family or whoever made Sherlock Holmes, right? But I don't remember what other context Sherlock Holmes was used in. It was used in some other novel, right? I'm just gotta hope and everything that's popping up is what is this? Ace Attorney. What is this? Power Rangers. Okay. I want the original context. Oh, I think it was Lupin? Yeah, I think that's it. I think it was Lupin or something. Anyway. Glad to know that Sherlock Holmes, you can't use that, but Sherlock Holmes, free reign. Maybe. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Imagine waking up in the morning and just having that. Eee? Well, so I guess, is this after? Wait, I can't move. Oh no! What did Ryunosuke do? What did I do? I heard that the Lupin books have him going up against Holmes, but the owners didn't like that. Yeah. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? You're under arrest. So you wake up now, Oh, it's the German guy. I don't know how to fake a German accent. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Why did I do the proper W sound for the first one, but not the second one? Hana's going to jail. I'm going to jail. Man, I do not believe you could not wake up. You are true cold-blooded man. I don't think I could fake this accent for the whole thing. You found me then. What is this? Is this a joke? Is this a play? Da, we found you. Now you pay. Criminal! Oh! How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe? Sorry. What is happening? Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Crimes of... did he just stow aboard a ship? Is that all that happened? That's what I imagined, but there, more stuff happened, maybe? Unless you want to find out... What the fuck is he saying? Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything! Sorry. A girl voice? Based on text sound? They're more Russian than German? Damn it. What the fuck was that accent, then? That they had in the thing? Those were not Russian accents. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... the girl we saw in the anime cutscene? Susada. I do not remember her name. Is the Ya? Ya? Ah, he said Da. You're right. Da is Russian, isn't it? He did not say Ya. Maybe, I don't know. Rustman? Jershin? God, that doesn't sound right. Anyway. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mr. Sato! Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Whose life? Where is he? Who are y'all talking about? Oh, it's Kazuma! Ha! You pretend you do not know you are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma? Kazuma-san's body was discovered not long ago from what? This is a joke, right? This is just a play that they're doing? What is happening? It's just a murder mystery, right? Man. Here in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body. Oh no, Cosmo, he got isekai'd. Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Cosmo's dead? But he can't be. No, he has to go to Europe and learn law. He's too cool to be dead. One Eastern European voice actor's the same as the next, right? What? Eh? These handcuffs. Surely you don't think... Put the police here. I have to know. Why did you take Cosmo-san's life? What is this? Why is it always me? Is the Great Ace Attorney just being accused? Is it just is it just me being my own lawyer? Is that what this whole game is? Answer me, please. No, you answer me. I don't know why it's turning black and white like that. It was so funny to me. No! Oh man, what is happening? Well, it's already started out. Very confusing. Cosmo, it was just 2 short weeks ago. We were still on the ship 2 weeks ago? What the heck is that on the plate there? Ew. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, oh, we did stowaway. How else would you, could you come to England with me to study? How would we get away with that? Sir, there's one more, student who's not on the sheet. Oh, well, must be an error. Let him in. Like, what? How would that work? Yeah, that headband's too cool. And he's got a sword. He can't die. Wait. Did y'all ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I don't want to think about that. It was really something else when they brought your luggage earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just stowed your traveling, tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. What the Cosmo? This was my alibi for killing him. That's what Cosmo's Japanese voice actor is the same as Bucciarati? Bucciarati? Which one is that one? Is that the Zipper Man? What was it called in Japanese? Why do I only remember Zipper Man? Yeah, Detective Hanayome Kamakiri on the case. Actually, is being accused of murder. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's not the one I was talking about, though. That's not the JoJo character I was talking about. Anyway, hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. That's what that is. That's one of the bones on that plate there. You're a bitch. Bet! Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. God! That is a long trip. Are they going the other direction to get to Europe? But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. Oh, they are Russian. Okay, all of them are Russian. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Mikoto-ba? Why did I say it like that? You mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew that what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Cool think. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there. You'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'd be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? Oh, that piece of paper that was keeping me sealed in there? What? Alright, so we got our first clue already. Obviously, it couldn't have been me if there was a paper keeping me sealed in there, which he ripped off, right? Well, that's not a first clue because we need to prove that in court, right? I guess it's just from our perspective. Then I can stick it out over the court. Are we in court? Are we on boat court? Boat jail? Where's the boat judge? And I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England, together. Now it's just me and this man. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer! No, I'm not a murderer! Nah, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend? No one. Why was there just a detective here? Oh, wait, he's English. Never mind. Well, wait, no, that still doesn't make sense. No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san? Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. Murderer. But there's something I would like to ask of you too. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse than by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. You know, Ryunosuke, he doesn't seem too upset. You know, just finding out his best friend's dead. Just another day. Another day. Actually, looking out the Suez Canal would have been freshly built. Ah, okay, okay. It was, was it August or April, it said? Did it even say either of those things? Like, 1987? No, 1887. I say 1987. That's a lot more recent. Alright, Cosmo's death. How did he die? What happened? He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? I don't think sailing around the north side of Russia is especially practical because of the Arctic ice. Anyway. Oh, I can break these cuffs. These handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Cosmo's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? This is definitely a setup. It has to be. There's no access to the cabin via porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What exactly happened? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-chan, you have to help me to tell me! A case where you're actually the criminal? That wouldn't be cool, that would suck. Unless you get convicted in the end for, you know, the actual crime that you did. That would suck. What the heck? Otherwise, you'd be defending yourself as a criminal. Or, I don't want that. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we'll learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next ported call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. Oh my god, Gabe, what the heck? Ace Attorney, the crime man. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Cosmo? Presumably that's something you would know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... Damn, crime keeps following me. Scumbag Ace Attorney. Right. He would always wake before dawn to do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin as I do every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. Hello, Shepard, sorry. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, wow, I just suddenly really had a craving for chili. There was Cosmo-san, collapsed on the floor. What is that stain on the floor? Coffee? And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's very hard to believe. This is all very hard for me to believe, too, trust me. Now I told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Was there like a gas or something that knocked him out? Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I hope there's a bathroom in here. No, because the ink's purple. This thing on the floor, that's not it. I had no idea. But how could you have accompanied Kazuma-san's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. She was surprised by that. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. I almost said England? He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Maybe because we're best friends? You know, bros for life? Wouldn't that be a priority? You know, having a good place to use the bathroom? Man, Cosmo, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? For life. Exactly. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I, that you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Wow, just take me away from my life in Japan so that you can force me to be a lawyer. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. Stowing away is definitely a crime, so this is in fact the case where you're genuinely guilty. Yes, but they're accusing me of murder. That's a completely different crime altogether. You can be accused for multiple crimes, so yeah, I am guilty of being a stowaway, but that's not what I'm trying to defend myself from here. I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Where's that wind coming from? His sheer will and determination. He's just that cool. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? The winds of fate, right? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Yeah, this is totally a setup. It has to be. First, maybe. He's deciding that, like, if he can't solve this case, maybe he's not meant to be a lawyer after all. You know? I don't know. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. Oh, Tatan! Yo! Welcome back! Well, apparently you've been here for a while because you're sub 10 months already. Thank you for resubbing. Hello from the dead, currently at Airborne School, going to jump Monday. What's Airborne School? What does that mean? Are you just going skydiving? Do you have to go to school for that? Or is this like a airplane stuff? I don't know what that means. He's a jumper? Well, apparently... I don't want to imagine him jumping from the planes and being a pilot. I feel like that'd be very, kinda not, kinda sussy, you know? That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. that we just got. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe, but something's still bothering me a little. What does that mean? The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san? I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Cosmo-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. Alright. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yeah. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. My internet is actually really bad right now, so my video froze and is buffering, and all I heard was her say my name. Aww. Oh well. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. How about Ryunosuke? I think your priorities are a little bit skewed. Like I feel like I would have said something like, if only I had woken up, then maybe I could have stopped his death or something like that. But he's like, nah, damn, fuck. Now I'm being accused of murder. Yeah, I could have stopped that part. Really? There's something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you, but the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, see, there's a smear at the back. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Ugh. I can't take this. Don't try and go anywhere. Oh. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Cosmo was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. I think it's Russian. And now I'm supposed to just sit around my hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I almost read it as in jest. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. Super duper paratrooper. They actually make you say that. Acrylic is the Russian alphabet. I thought you said acrylic for some reason. So I was like, no. I don't know how I thought you said that, and then for some reason my brain didn't like register that acrylic is not a language anyway. Anyway, I'm going to work out who took Cosmo's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Yeah! What the? That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? What martial art form is that? He's just on his back. I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in the court of law. I see. Acrylic is what you make aquariums from. No, it depends. Some are made out of glass. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence? I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. The paper! That was... What am I examining here? It's just the paper, damn it. It's the seal I wrote for the wardrobe. Oh, I clicked it by accident. I meant to present it. I never forget how Cosmo reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked! I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. Alright, get out of this. What is the button to present? Oh, X.
Yes!
The thing keeping me in the damn wardrobe! Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the... I'm sorry, I'm just imagining him still on his back, and he's just, like, presenting the evidence. He hasn't made any movement to get upright. So that's exactly what he's doing. Oh, yes, it was. I remember it clearly. He was in a chair? Was there anything that suggested he was sitting in a chair? He's not tied up. He's got his... He just clearly tried to leave. Gabe, he just tried to run out the door. And he's handcuffed. That's it. I thought so. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. Yeah, so naturally he did the same last night as well. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Cosmo. Are you gonna make an effort to... This is hurting my eyes. For some reason, my head is hurting just looking at this. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Cosmo thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think that perhaps you could help me up? Can he not roll over? Ancient Meiji Heelys? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you! So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back up in position. What does she think I am, a magician? I always love this panning that they kind of do. For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please, don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing more that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you to use your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Damn. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Cosmo, I swear. I will avenge your death. Hurry up, let me get to the point. Thank you. What is this? A broken mug? A bell? What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing is, it appears to have broken clean in two. Well, where's the other part then? The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Cosmo. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? Would he? And the marks beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. What? 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 Wanted to say hi since I haven't seen your streams in a while. I plan to play this myself, so I'm gonna bounce. But hi! Hi, Slack! Yeah, don't spoil yourself. I luckily have not seen anything for this game, so I don't know anything about it. So it's fresh for me too. Thank you for stopping by at least. I hope you have fun when you play the game. Oh dear, that one too. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Okay. Okay. I'm sure you're careful to look around using... Yeah, sure. Now let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Don't tell me what to do. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. What does that mean? Oh, it's got a little check mark if I investigated it. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? Clearly not. I'm not a dog, Sasato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how did the plate end up on the floor? Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? Oh. It's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Oh, the sort. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is a soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Seigi. Seigi! The Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Cosmo. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? What are you leave me alone. Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Oh, Asher, thank you very much. Even though you stowed away on this ship, fam, I don't think I don't think stepping on an insect is going to have the same meaning as killing a person. Now that you're going to bring that, up, are you? I can't win. The tablecloth. Oh, part of it was lit up. I guess this. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery all over the floor for some reason. I think for some reason she was just like, Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. He went to an angry rage. That's not what I mean. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No, no, no! Damn. What is this up here? The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. Why is that? I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... It was you! I knew she was gonna say that. Naruhodo-san hit a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I just set everything straight again. I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like... Oh, that's a girl. I don't like to see a mess. No, that's evidence! She messed up the evidence. Look what you've done. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Bureau. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all the passengers on board. Yeah. Interfering with the crime scene. Passengers must not keep weapons or dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I almost said prohibited and forbidden at the same time, so it was like forbidden. I don't know. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Excuse me? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Why is she mean? What the heck? Did Cosmo-sama... Cosmo-sama. Did Cosmo write that before he died? I kind of like her, though. She's funny. It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Well, I highly doubt he knows Russian. So, if Cosmo is dead, or this is just a ploy or whatever, clearly somebody else wrote it, right? It's one of the easiest things, right, for this case. And then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Cosmo-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. Exactly. I don't think that's Japanese. No, hold on. You don't think so? You don't think? Are you Japanese? Now tell me, is it Japanese or not? What? Then what language is it? What? Were y'all thinking it was in Japanese or something? Oh, they were probably just thinking like the writing was really weird. It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Hold on. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Whoops! Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. Just because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin? What do you mean you didn't know when a member of the crew was gonna come in? There's a lock on the door. They wouldn't be able to make it in, right? Unless it was broken the whole time. I think it looked like it was broken in the cutscenes. Maybe? The like in the past or whatever? No, sadly not. From the inside? I don't know, that doesn't look like an inside. This looks like, I don't know, it looks like it would have broken from force from the outside. I don't know. This is where dear Cosmo-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. I don't know why. I thought that was amusing. London Diary. Poor Cosmo. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Yeah! Oh, it's because I was trying to mess with evidence. That's out of the question. What? Cosmo-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. Oh my god. It's evidence, ma'am! But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? I don't know why I yelled. You don't think it's Russian either? Yeah, it might not be. It might just be funny letters, who knows? But after she said that, when she called a crew member, they broke in, which is also confusing. Alright, alright. I won't read it. Excuse me, sorry, I had to yawn. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Yeah. How much longer do I have to keep looking at stuff? I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate to the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it would be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it is so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. What? What just happened? What the fuck? Who's that? He wasn't here a moment. What the heck? That was freaky. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he? I'm so confused. You've noticed that man too, have you? Okay, I drink. What the fuck? I got really confused because I couldn't figure out what it was at first. it's a person. I've no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall, suspiciously tall. No, hold on, son. Don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. He's investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? What is that expression? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press A on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Okay, alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Alright, well, excuse me, sir. What the fuck are you doing? I know, right? Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. What is he looking at, anyway? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. What the heck was— ah! Jesus Christ. Ah! I didn't even see what he said! Excuse me. Wrong button. Holy crap. What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? I hurt myself. I didn't even see what he said when he popped up. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. He said, greetings, hope I haven't kept you— oh, it was way too long. Ah, yes, everything is clear now. What a nerd. Right. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan. He is totally a hack. He is an absolutely— everything he did before in that cutscene was just wrong. You've been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true, at least. But how? Are we not gonna tell him that the Afghanistan part was completely wrong? How the deuce? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? Why did he say that like that? What? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. But there's no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia. Being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower! And with the buried bone document of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Wow. How was I so on the nose with this guy we never met before? Everything. He is just an idiot. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives those eyes. Or these eyes. Just to be clear. You are talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? Where is he getting that info, though? Why 16 victims specifically? What the heck? I don't even see one person who fits that bill. It's definitely her. The Russian assassin with 16 victims. So it's true. Don't look at me! It was you who did this to Cosmo, so what are you talking about? And you're plotting a revolutionary too. What? Ma'am. It's shameful behavior. I'm sorry. Haven't you known me for a while? When did I just go to Afghanistan? When did I go to Russia? It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. Ma'am. Excuse me, wrong button. No, listen, there's no way Yeah! Stop it! Why is this game like this? Is every Ace Attorney game like this? Hi, Miko. Hi, E4. I'm confused. I'm a world traveler, man. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Not this bad? Oh, man. What is happening then? How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes! I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously! Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head! Why does he remind me of a Hildebrand? But was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Aha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of the murder. So, I'm not really sure what you could call it I'm not really sure you could call it deduction, it's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. What a joker. What a charlatan. My apologies, how remiss of me. He's a himbo. Is that what they're called, right? He's definitely a himbo. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. He is a Manderville man. This is definitely Hildebrand. They did not deny the Afghanistan part. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? Wait, is that what that means? No, it doesn't. Himbo doesn't mean you're sexually active. I literally just Googled it. A himbo is an attractive but unintelligent man. That's it. That's it. In which case, I'd say he's pretty easy on the eyes, but he's dumb as hell. Fire Mage 96, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Hana Horde. Anyway. The most famous detective in the world, Naruto-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. He's famously bad. What planet have I been living on, then? You must ask him what he's deduced. We will have to work... what? He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? He's definitely a himbo, right? Mr. Great Detective, actual Sherlock Holmes. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Oh, no. Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. I thought he was gonna do that whole thing. The inimitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Bromad, welcome! Chronicles a himbo. Yeah, sure. Oh, I see, you're German? Sherlock, was it? Ryunosuke, what? Ah, oh, come on, he's doing it too. No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. Oh, man. Why is it just two idiots talking to each other? How can this idiot become a lawyer? I start my viewpoint on the matter of himbos and bimbos and whatnot, but I don't want to get automated for saying sex words. You're fine. But, I mean, you can assert... there's an actual definition from the Oxford Dictionary for himbo. Okay? Ow. Excuse me. It comes up as an official description for the word. What definition? I was like, what is the word called? To find a meaning in something. A definition. It is an official definition. An attractive but unintelligent man. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. I can't read English. Does that remind me of that Vanguard episode? Where it was in English, obviously. It was a dubbed episode. And the guy's just like, I can't speak English or something like that. It's like, oh. Hana Ace VTuber part-time Ace attorney. Yeah. Wait. Himbo's not a fetish term, is it? It's just a descriptor. Like twink. Anyway. Oh yes, Run's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I've seen it. I have it sent from England, especially. Wow, they literally just ended their revolution in Japan, right? And now they already know the English language. Yes, here it is, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So you're the protagonist of a series of short stories, then? Indeed, I am. Is this guy just a cosplayer? Okay, I'm glad we got it. And you've read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are a detective? He is just a cosplayer. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in a magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? Is he a doctorate? Anyway, I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. I really hate this pose. Isn't that something exactly that what Hildebrand does? Exact movement and everything? Man, I don't know. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. It does. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly, when I got into this game. He has a doctorate in Mandervilman. Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. Yes, and the reactions I'm getting from you are you know what, that I'm dumb. And you too. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle. Oh my god, Twitch. Twitch gaming, Twitch, twitch.tv/Hanayome Kamakiri. Live right now. A slight inclination of the posture. Oh, posture tech, one sec. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. He'd say data, wouldn't he? I think I tried to say it like that, then tried to correct myself, and then also just tried to say it again. And it came out kind of wrong. Thanks for the shout out, Gabe. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. I think it'd be funny if Sholmes had a Professor Layton-shaped head. Ew. Wasn't there a crossover game? Did that ever come out in America? The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. Damn, that fancy hat tip. Oh, it did come out in English in America? As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? He set out from Afghanistan with 15 victims, 16 victims. Russia came from Afghanistan. So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Why did he almost say? I see. Sherlock. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You know, he's not German. That was just Ryunosuke misunderstanding his name as Herlock. I see. In other words, he's from London, I think. I'm in these now because of him. Great. So he's an idiot, which might be easy to prove my case, but he's popular, well-known, and assumed to be the opposite of an idiot. So that's gonna be a lot harder for me. When I became anxious about Cosmo-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Herlock Sholmes, was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Oh, 2 facts. God damn it, there's so much questions. Why did it just suddenly get rid of the period after the Mr., or is that just me? Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us, please. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? God, this music is charisma. Is it perception 0? Because I feel like he's perceiving a lot of things. It's his intelligence or his wisdom that's 0, totally. Right? I don't know. He's perceiving a little too much, but he's not getting the right knowledge from it. Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, he's got deduction. He's got negative amounts, actually. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what makes you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That says, Papipio. Oh. Whatever that says, that is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Cosmo... is it really the Russian word for wardrobe? Now I'm curious. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Do you really think Cosmo-sama would have left the dying message in Russian? In their final moments, they may find their native tongue filling their head for this young man, Russian. He's not Russian. Cosmo was Russian? Was he? Initially, I considered, what? Does that look like a garderobe? Maybe the name of the killer, a certain Robert's guard, perhaps? But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there, at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? Garderobe is the pronunciation? Is it? It looks like it's just, it looks like he was just taking what it looks like it would say and then saying it. Oh, so it's upside down? Is it? Anyway. I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. Please. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message and that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Man. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Cosmo had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time- I love the music stops. It's a little bit more dramatic now that we see this picture, isn't it? This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Maybe he is dead because his hair band isn't flowing anymore. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Don't- No, my friend's dead. Y'all just showed me a picture of my dead friend. Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. Oh, Mikifu, thank you for the rating! Welcome, everybody. My name is Hanayome Kamakiri. I'm an Organ Mantis. We are playing the Great Ace Attorney, and, somehow, once again... Ah, Sukai, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Hana Horde, everybody. Somehow, once again, we have been accused of something that we didn't do. And this guy in front of us is an absolute nut job. Who does not know what he's talking about. Jeremiah, thank you. Bleep Bleep, thank you. And Miku, thank you. Miki, excuse me, not Miku. I think I was thinking of that nightmare I had where Hatsune Miku was trying to kill me when I like read the first half of your name. Wait, was it? Oh, Resident Evil Village? Oh, nice! I just beat that a couple weeks ago. They say that if Cosmo's headband ever stops moving, he dies like a Charmander. What I meant to say, continue to say rather, is I am playing the Great Ace Attorney. If you do not want to be spoiled, please head on out. This is the second case we have started. But if you would like to hang out, this game is absolutely ridiculous and it's kind of funny, and I want to see how wrong I can be while being right, while this guy in front of us, how wrong he can be while being wrong. I love Ace Attorney. Hope you've been having a good time. It's content, you know. I can't say whether or not I'm frustrated, whether or not I'm entertained, whether or not I'm conflicted, you know. Playing this game is just like being unsure. That's the whole thing. It is an experience. That's what this game is. So we got this himbo right in front of us. Oh yeah, I literally spent minutes trying to like argue the definition of the word himbo. How about all of the above? Yes, I just summarized it into this as an experience. Does this game spark joy? This game sparks feelings of something. Anyway, can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? Pray. You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. 16 victims under your belt. Oh yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. The truth. I know. Infinite, I knew. I knew. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Yeah, whatever that says. Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Okay. Your deduction, Mr. Man. Can we talk about your deduction before? The thing you concluded about me, I mean? There's several things. You want to start from the Afghanistan part? I'm really kind of frustrated that every single word I said matched up with his mouth flaps. Anyway, the now famously accurate troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. How is fairly commonplace deduction. I said I for some reason. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Huh? Is he trying to say that's me? You know what? I don't think I've looked in a mirror recently. Maybe it is. Revolutionary violent Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. I'm glad he wasn't in the fake part, right? But I don't know if this is any better. This vessel made a port call to Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian, was murdered. Since when was Cosmo a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Cosmo-sama wrote on the floor. Oh, wait, what? It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. There is chicken. Wait, what? What does the chicken have to do with... Gabe, what is going on in your head? What math is happening? One who had killed the very man who helped him escape after his true identity was discovered. Chicken is yummy. Chicken's the best meat, honestly. Yes, you violent Bolshevik. Did you look at the picture? No, no, no. How can it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Oh, man. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, I have deduced that you got plastic surgery, which does not exist in this time yet. I didn't even read what he said because I just assumed that was what he was saying. The chicken might be the new steak. Chicken is the new steak, right? Chicken's the new beef. Please. And I might add that your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. I do not like steak. Only Salisbury steak. This guy hurts my head. I mean, the last case also hurt my head. I feel like if your head's not hurting from just like the secondhand embarrassment almost that some of these characters are exhuming, then I feel like you're not really enjoying the game, you know? What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and then blowing up the Crystal Tower. Is there a Crystal Tower in London, or is this just like some weird collaboration? Some weird reference to Final Fantasy III? Ah, yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. We never left Eorzea. You're right, this is Hildebrand. Wait a minute. Just like rip off the peel on the cover of the game, it's just Final Fantasy XIV. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. There's a Crystal Palace. Interesting. Maybe, ah! I froze. Maybe Crystal Tower, or Crystal Palace is a, oh. The Crystal Palace was a cast iron and plate glass structure originally built in Hyde Park, London. So is it called the Crystal Tower or Crystal Palace? Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said it was just returning from Afghanistan? I was just returning from Afghanistan. Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subservice. I was said servitude or something like that. What is this word? Subversive? Subversive, excuse me, subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place, isn't it in Asia? But I guess, you know, Japan being an island, they wouldn't really know about generic Asia, I suppose. Here, take the paper for yourself as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Thanks. He's handing it to me to throw it away for him. Alright. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you. Though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Alright, bro, man. No worries. I'm glad you got to show up and see the guy you were wanting to. Hold on. I don't know why I'm looking at it. I just want to see. Back page? Oh. Interesting. I don't know what I'm looking at. Anyway. Wait, no, I meant to keep talking. I meant to keep talking. He thinks you're Russian but can't read Russian. I know, he was pretty cute. Before we started talking, you were examining Cosmo's desk, weren't you? Cosmo? Ah, yes, the victim. Right. Too bad it's 1887, or whatever it is. Did you notice anything useful at all? That stupid hat tip, I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it when he does cool things, but he's just so stupid. Man, I don't know if I actually like this character trope or not. I feel like it just frustrates me. Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. I am observing with my eyes. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Cosmo was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think he should read his private writings. It could upset people. Like that girl right there! Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, I believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. I almost said it really weirdly. Japanese. Oozes condensation. Wait. No, you said condescension. I thought you said condensation. Oh, I see. Oh, you're about to know what Susato takedown is. No, she won't do it to him. He's too hot. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Yeah, I knew it. She can't seem so brutish in front of this Chad. Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray, be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Only from what my weeaboo shows have shown me before. Sayonara, exactly. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Was he laughing at that? Why is he laughing? So what was all that showing up about before then? Yeah, I bet he thinks they all look the same. Wait, why would he? Why does he think some Russian guy wrote in Japanese? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would happily read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Wow, she's gonna read his diary? I'm much obliged, my dear madame. A final entry here in Cosmo-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. Wow, what just happened there? What is going on with my words right now? I feel like I'm adding syllables. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. A speckled band. Oh, you're right. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects lettuce. Why did I say that? The heck? Which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Cosmo's diary. Okay. Lettuce. Okay. So I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Sorry. I hope y'all heard every single sound of my chair just now. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. Oh, Haru, hello! Oh! The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and I am still too long the seasickness... And if I am still too long the seasickness takes hold, he's not cool at all. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. He's down with the sickness. Ooh, wah. Is that even the same song? Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? I'm so confused. No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrists should reveal the answer. Ah. Oh. These. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No. There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. He is the sickness. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. Did he not? You know what? He just called me a murderer, but maybe he's right. You must be joking! You just said it only a moment ago! Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, maybe he did. I see, I am just as dumb as him. Okay. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? No, really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. What? Now he's just being plain rude. Here's your idiot card. Ah, thank you very much. And he goes off, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Why did they put humor like that? How dare they? This is America? Wait. Yeah, this is America. Actually, this is like Japan. In between, actually. Now, Hodo-san, what are you standing there for? Sorry. I had to Google it, make sure it wasn't two different words. This is actually the open ocean, you are correct. We're going to Garlemald. Yes. Huh? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? How many times? Ah! I didn't even finish reading. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? You flipped me over. I didn't roll over willingly. Ugh, as if you gave me the choice of the rolling over part. Exactly. Thank you. Ryunosuke. I think we still have some investigating to finish off here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. Quit showing me these. I know I'm cuffed. What do you think about this? She sees it as a threat. The situation doesn't look good for me, but these, there are still things I can do to help myself. And I want to Cosmo to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. You know what? Maybe it would have been better for us to lose the case so then Cosmo, you know, wouldn't have died. You know? Hello, sir. Excuse me. What? I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigate a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it is not true, I see. Sorry? That criminal asking prison guard to help him escape? Very funny. How would I escape? We're on a boat in the ocean. Oh, is that a thing? Oh, I don't have a badge. We're in the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping. Yet! You stay in this cabin until next port, then it is up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay. Alright. There's no point in trying to appeal this man's better nature, that's for sure. Yeah, okay. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. That's quite a small bolt, and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. Yeah, I'm confused. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. Don't look at me like that! When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and a thread to draw a bolt across from the outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. She just pulls one out of her sleeve. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. Stop it! When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. She's so— where'd this guy come from? Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again, but I suppose I could try. Hold on, I'm gonna look around somewhere. Boo-doo. What is this then? This is— yes, it's a belt cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? Oh, ghost ship? Holy crap. This is all a dream. It's just a really bad dream. I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring us. Oh my god. You can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. This locked room theory seems a bit flawed when people just materialize out of— well, it's not locked now. The lock's broken. But I just Sherlock, or her lock, excuse me. Please don't sue. Just appearing on the desk there. Hana went from RPG with a bunch to read to a visual novel with a massive amount to read. This man is getting her reading done with plenty of spare. Man, and I don't know how to read either way. Really, that sounds almost magical. Well, they don't appear out of nowhere. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Oh, no! No, I'm sure that everyone is busy, that's all. Just the disappointment going across her face. How sad. I thought I looked over here already. How come there's no check mark? This is where dear Cosmo-san would have sat whenever he was writing. Yes, I got that. How come it wasn't lit up anymore? Hana, but with glasses? Wait, who? Oh, now I can read it. Speckled band. Could that thing be the speckled band? Speckled band from the ventilator. I really do need to get to the cabin next door, seeing as that's where the ventilator connects to. Yes, I agree with you. Okay, got that done. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. And me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away onto this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Holy crap. You ever think, like, just how difficult that would be, like, with the airflow and whatnot? Oh, yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over. And then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Sasato takedown. Interesting, okay. Is there anything else to look at? The chicken, the table, the thing here. I think I looked at everything. Alright, sir. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. I can recognize him from here. No, not this guy again. You know what? He's not too bad. He's not too bad. I don't think. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Of course, he would show up more than once, wouldn't he? Yes, what can I do for you? Here he is. I was about to say, I don't think he's Russian, just looking at his hair. I recognize that face, but it can't be. He's still got a good old tuberculosis, though, don't he? It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Shush, he's undercover. Just wipe it on his sailor sleeve. Hello again. What are you doing here? Why do you say it like that? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. What? What does that mean? I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. Maybe he's the murderer. He's always around in these places, huh? If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Is he our Gumshoe? I feel like he's our Gumshoe. I feel like he's just gonna be here every single case to give us our evidence and stuff and like that. Wait. Didn't something happen to Gumshoe in Ace Attorney? Now we got a sickly man here as well, taking his place. Anyway. What are your orders, sir? So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? The pirate crew. I'm so sorry. Eh? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. Wow, so much for that, huh? What's a humbo? Oh, you talking about Gumshoe? You meant himbo? Wait, are you sure? Him? Are you into that kind of? I guess. I don't know. I think he's a little too daddy. I don't know how to describe his aesthetic. He looks like a dad. Gumshoe? I don't. You called Gumshoe a himbo. But he doesn't have that aesthetic. Anyway, I don't... It was a Minister of Justice, Jigoku, pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that have even been a possibility? Okay. I'm not sure, but these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said that we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Cosmo-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew, looking at this invisible apple in my hand. Nice. I see. Wait, what conclusion? Are you talking about the Gumshoe thing? Like him, anyway. But I didn't take my eyes off him for the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. Well, rip. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Osogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. Turn in your badge now. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Yes, let us out, sir. Permission to investigate. Thanks, Amiko. Like usual. What do you mean, like usual? We're doing what we can to investigate Cosmo's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes. So we need to be allowed out of this cabin. Oh, he looks so sad. Like, I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you moved to even touch the door, oh my god. That stormy looking sea man there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now, they think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. Eh? The bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it, really. I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. Well, then take the diary, damn it. But I don't see how... The diary should be enough. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply sit like the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective some evidence he needs to persuade the captain. Let's see. Can you... How do I hand this over? How do I show it to him? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Can you use this? What's that? It's Cosmo's diary. Just before he died, Cosmo-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. I know. It kind of really breaks the immersion when they say stuff like that. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we were still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. The ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right, so if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what that speckled band was. Man, I'm still angry that we almost lost, like, the first case, because I knew what the answer was, but the stupid presentation wasn't correct. Man. It's like school. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck in here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. The great steak attorney. Yeah, I know it so well that it's totally bypassing them. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I could do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just like move. All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, let's see what we can find out. All right, goodbye. Let's get the heck out of here. Hello. Oh. For some reason, there was a delay with moving. What is that, a mousetrap? That's a big ball of cheese. January 9th, 7:48. Alright. Phew, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. Are we on a boat? It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and it's this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Cosmo-sama was being sent on his study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Side note, I'm 350 more jade to be done. Eh? What, done with what? What does that mean? Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Aren't they the same thing? Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. Oh, nice, awesome. I suppose, like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. What? I would have thought that you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. I've been mostly in the stupid wardrobe this whole time. Give me a break. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Cosmo's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please don't give me that pitying look. Why is she so mean to me? There's a No! Is there No, there's only 2 votes. That's not enough. We need more than 3 votes for this sort of thing. That's not nearly enough. I will not accept any conclusive answer. Turns out the Titanic sank about 3 months before the end of the Meiji era, so this would be before luxury ships got real big. That's a huge book on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? A little look? Why do you say little look? The writing is so neat and precise, every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. Repole. Thank you very much. And nothing, no reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. From a murderer? I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably, that means there was nothing to report. Interesting. Perhaps. Alright, y'all better vote on what Gumshoe is. Is he a dad or is he a himbo? No, don't use your points to vote, you cheater. I was not gonna get any real answer. No, don't use your points, you No! Oh my god. Hey, question for the context of the poll. Is dad understood by meaning fatherly and unattractive, or like dad bod? It's mostly dad bod. I guess. But now I think about it, perhaps perhaps himbo isn't really exclusionary to such a thing. I don't know if the first known use dates back to 1988? I thought it was a more recent term. Well, to be honest, I just don't think Gumshoe is attractive. So I don't think he's a himbo at all. Is he even stupid? I don't even know. Anyway, this looks like a plan to the SS Bureau. It shows each deck. Look, what does SS mean, by the way? Sailing ship. No, probably not. The Bureau is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been played in my mind for a while now, actually, but how is that such a huge lump of... How is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink into the bottom of the ocean? Well, my dear Ryunosuke, why don't we teach you about buoyancy? Oh, that's really quite simple now, son, is it? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than the ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. SS is steam shit? Someone said steam shit? I see. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? Is it pleasing? Edgeworth? Edgeworth? As his pay gets constantly... Miko, what? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship. It brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh! Jesus Christ. God, they keep cutting things off when I'm not even ready for it. What are you doing, Naruto-san? You mustn't touch it! But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs! She put her hands on her hips. Oh my god. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. The ship included. My life, my heart. Gumshoe is a little bit stupid. He's attractive if you're into big hairy guys. However, I do not think he fits into the himbo category. I don't think himbo is being censored, by the way. I don't think himbo is censored. Every single time we talked about it earlier, that was not the word that was censored. For the same reason that chubby milfs don't fit in the bimbo. Even if they're stupid. Why milf? Why was that your example? Was a milf? Himbo, wait, what? It can't be used in the poll. Oh, no! Who's voting? Oh, I can make my own vote. God damn it. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. You know what? That's a good idea. What is this? Ah, a trap for catching mice. It is a mouse trap. What the heck? That is a big ball of cheese. I was just joking earlier. Himbo is a safe word. Do days. Hana? Do days? What? What are you saying? Miko! What are your words? Yes, we have plenty of those back at home in Japan, although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. Yeah, let's go find out, Ryunosuke. You can't eat it, Naruto-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But... I suppose you're right. Was he thinking about going to just go pick it up and eat it? It's okay, Miko. It's okay. I apologize. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Cosmo's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. I don't need to look at the doors, do I? Wouldn't that be dirty cheese? Why? You've been putting your grimy fingers all over it? He's just great. He is a good character. Man, how do I check who voted so much? That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Yes, ma'am. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. Why does he... The fact that he keeps bringing his hands up, like, just to remind you that he's in handcuffs. It's like, oh, okay. Ah, I see. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle, of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. He's got a gun? Oh dear. I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Cosmo's death remains a mystery anyway. Sir? What's with his face? Is he sunburned? This man's the killer. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. Oh! That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid. Oh! He's just mean. Oh. We seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not Sailor. My mother gave me a name. Oh, okay. What's your name, then? I am Senior Crewman Biff Stroganoff. Is it beef or beef? I think his name is Beef. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Beef. Beef Stroganoff. Man. Boys don't know about this guy. Mr. Stroganoff, about the first-class cabin area. We are in finest part of Mura steamship for very important persons. Oh my god. I hope y'all did not hear that. Please tell me you didn't hear that. I will not continue until I find out whether or not you just heard something you shouldn't have. No, you did? Did you? Did you actually? What do you mean you still love me? If y'all left me for something like that. Good. You know what? That's okay, bastard. You're fine. That's what happens when you drink soda, I guess. I don't know what happened, though. So, what do you think you heard? What do you think it was? Tell me. Tell me right now. A fart! Oh my god, check! No! Oh my god. Well, that's awkward now, isn't it? Now I'm embarrassed that that's not even what happened. You think I just farted on stream? No, it wasn't, for one. Anyway, I burped, and it was a little bit louder than I expected. Anyway. Okay. What sort of very important persons? I don't like burping on stream. I don't think it's attractive. And so usually they come up pretty quietly. But I don't know. Maybe I swallowed too much air just from reading, and it came out. But anyway, have you ever? It's a normal. I know it is, but I don't. I don't want y'all to hear that from me. It's just not attractive. Well, have you been intending to be attractive? What? Bastard, that's mean. I'm gonna cry now. What? Wow. Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That's why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. Oh, my mood. Not my mood exactly. Hold on. I gotta get back in the mood. Ugh. I'm not seriously upset. It just, damn, bastard. It was like getting shot. Reading that was like, ouch, my heart. Okay. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but strong enough is not the animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is this cabin next to Mr. Osogi's currently occupied? What is that? Ah! Susato-san, do you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Yeah, one of those answers. Genius. Beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff is actually a disc. It is a Russian dish of sauteed. Isn't it just beef stroganoff? Isn't that how we usually call it? Beef stroganoff in English? I already knew his name was a pun. That's why I laughed at it earlier. If nobody else caught on, I can't say anything. Used to? What? I've already forgotten. Anyway. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Oh. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin, at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. I see. It doesn't have to be beef. Then it's not beef stroganoff now, is it? I'm gonna use what is beyond meat? Why is it capitalized? Is that a, like, fake meat? Vegan stuff? It's scary that it's capitalized. It's a song from Symphogear. What are you? Beyond meat? Whiz. Beyond Meat's a Los Angeles-based producer of plant-based meat substitutes founded in 2009. Interesting. There's a verse about beef strog that doesn't have to be beef. Oh, okay. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? Oh god, what is happening? Okay, I think I am swallowing too much air. His name is Mr. Grimesby or Grimsby. I'm gonna say Grimesby. Grimesby Roylott. He is very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How could he be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. You know, the last time we had an authentic something Western, whatever. Stop swallowing air with your words. I don't know how to speak. You know how hard it is to control a human body? I'm the one who's been making Symphogear references. Gotta actually watch that show. That's a show? I thought it was a game. Asher, thank you. Yeah, authentic Western murderer. Such a man would have no interest in lowly students from insignificant Far East islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Cosmo's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. I drank, by the way. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins... sorry. He must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Alright, Mr. Beef Stroganoff. It's like Magical Girl Show, but with the Macross thing where it's musical at the same time. What? Are you on watch here all the time, Mr. Seaman Stroganoff? That's not what he said. He didn't say Mr. The whole time, so criminals like you cannot come in or get out. Mr. Seaman Stroganoff. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? What does that mean? I don't watch Food Wars, it's too gross. It is sad about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the same time? Or at the time? Oh god. Anything unusual? Yeah! Susanoo-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no! I don't know what he said. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. Okay. He didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in the same way? I said no! Sorry! Oh man. What is with this guy's face though? I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment. He wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there? What do you mean? What does that mean? Catch your eye? This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It's time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when lobster whistles on top of mountain, or as English say, when pigs fly. Thanks for saving the game right there. Catch your attention? I guess. I don't know. Yes, I understand. You don't have to describe what a musical... Bastard! Jesus Christ, noise alert? What? What are y'all talking about in Discord? Anyway, good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Well, you know what? I have a feeling this case is going to go on for way too long. It's already 2 hours, and you know what? A case hasn't even... Is there even a case? Is this even a case? Is it just me? Is this like Danganronpa style? Anyway, definitely. What are we doing? Yep. What did she say? Oh, I still need to look around, huh? Oh, hold on. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Cosmo-sama's. Sorry? You just got advertised to? Do you want another one? Here you go. I don't know if it worked or not. Anyway. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. Let me know if it worked. Or if it didn't. Well, I guess if it did work. You wouldn't be no. You wouldn't be no. Except having to investigate multiple times during first case, if this follows the same rule. Yeah. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin and steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? Alright. I guess I'm just looking at anything that I haven't actually looked at. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Knock knock. Moshi mosh. Hello. Sorry, bastard. I'm sorry. That was me. I guess it worked. That was me. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in here to help with our inquiries. You probably got the first ad just by, you know, being in here. But once you mentioned it, I clicked the ad button to see if it worked, and I guess it did, so... How annoying. Ah! Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Oh, I forgot that her lock is probably in there. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Oh, there's a lady in there. Stand aside! Oh my god, where did he come from? I thought he was already in there. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes! There's so much happening all of a sudden. I shan't be stopped. When the fit is in me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. I hope he breaks his leg. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. God, there's so much happening. Jack, have you not heard me every single time? I think, what was it, the first time Sholmes popped up, I yelled. He scared me. Oh! It is the Russian man. Killer of 16. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody in but me in this cabin. It's true, this old man doesn't appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, just who screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe? Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I am a great detective among... I love this. Look at the old books. The books are over, too. I am a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. I will forgive you about the ads because you forgave me for setting my foot directly with... What? Ah! I bumped my desk and my controller fell. Sorry, my other controller. That was... anyway. Let me put this up real quick. Let me move this away. Okay. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within a wardrobe like this time. What's happening? Hold on, one sec. One moment. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So might I be so bold as to ask you this, to open that small traveling case? What about the bag that was right by the door? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? But you got scissors. So clearly you cut her up like paper. Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not, traveling inside one's trunk? Don't look at me. Oh my, do you see that, Mr. Naruto? Mr. Naruto, that's not what she said, is it? Yes, the case just shook. Leave now, otherwise I'll call the steward. So this is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimsley Roylott. Grimesley. There's no doubt about it. A strange Russian man is hiding something. What is in there? I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Hey! What's up? What is he doing? What's in this? What do you think you're doing? Ah! This is my cabin. Get out! Could we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No! Oh. What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Mr. Roylott. Or is he just sitting? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of this wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Alright. You know what? That's fine. He's very good at detecting things. He's not good at getting anything right, though. Oh. And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually. You're spot on, for once. Observe closely. this man with a knife! Oh, he's got something in his pocket. Our Russian host in his cabin, Mr. Roylet's clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Eh? Why? The truth, of course. What? Okay. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? I don't know why, but this game has been making me want to watch Detective Conan. Oh yes, please! I say I don't know why. There's obviously, you know, the hidden reason, but I just haven't made an effort. Well then, what you are about to see may as well astound you. Time. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. There's too many greats. The great ace attorney. It's not me. After all, it's him. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? Detective. I don't know where we could even watch it, because Crunchyroll... I don't even know if Crunchyroll and, like, Netflix have, like, starting from episode 1. What? He's so small. From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? Huh? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you. Or anyone. Interesting, you're right. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shush. Wow. Good job, Gabe. I'm proud of you. It's okay. I must have complete silence. You have to watch anime legally if you're doing it. I am not about... you know what? Even if I wasn't, I am not about to go to suspicious and questioning websites to watch anime on my computer in which I need to play games and stream. I'm not about to risk getting viruses just to watch some anime. Somebody else can do that, but not me. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? I just thought, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. Eh? There could be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylet, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. It's always two, isn't it? What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Wow. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of someone most dear. Why would he be holding scissors like that if he was going to kill somebody with it? Are you not? Ugh. And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Only say so anime sites for such a main mission, so... Thank you. Does it not? Ah! Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction. Thinking deceived Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. The poor Russian guy here. If ERV? I don't know what that is. What irrefutable twaddle? Oh yes, I've read all about it countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. She's so cute. I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylet's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you know? How could I possibly know such things? You wish to say? Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I do cordially invite upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Well... Oh, interesting. Wait, does VRV have it from episode 1, though? Because Crunchyroll has Detective Conan, but they don't have it from episode 1. Unless they changed it recently, and they do now. But I think the earliest episode they used to have was like 200 or 300 something. Or 600. VRV is Crunchyroll. Well, then check for me. See if they have it from episode 1. But plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The game is afoot! No. This isn't afoot at all. What is this? What is this? What is going on here? So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylet, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. What is the stage play? Yeah, no, there's obviously no trial. It's the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, no, you idiot! Did he? When he had newspaper in his pocket, wouldn't the easiest conclusion to be that he was just trying to clip something from the newspaper? That would... He didn't even notice the newspaper in the pocket. Of course, the answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport? That's not what you said earlier. Now, moving on. Oh man, I love how stupid he is. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Worthit? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. The hat tip. Regards, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular this fascinating front page article. Which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Worthit. Okay, there we go. There's the newspaper notify. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals their true identity is the article about the revolutionary. What's the question mark coming up? Oh, they're definitely not the same person. They just look the same. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Violent Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Oh man, I just realized that I might have plans after this, so I don't know if I can stream over my normal time. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. I don't know. There's nothing that says I have to. It's just that Cher asked me to play Among Us after stream. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself. Sorry, stuttering. Violent Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand? Wow. Wikipedia says season 1, episode 1 title is The Big Shrink, and that's the first one listed on VRV. Let me see if it's on Crunchyroll. Now I'm curious. Is that under case closed? That's weird. What the heck? They have they have season 1, episodes 1 through 43. Is this in English or Japanese though? And then it just says season 3. And immediately goes to episode 754. What? Great, you can get episodes 1 through 43, then you can get 754. What? Damn. That's a lot of episodes in between 2 seasons. Now, as far as my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. Oh. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylet. Taken unawares, people have, you know what, I bet he has an animal on the case and that's all. Taken unawares, people have the, propensity, what is propensity? To let their eyes stray, you see. You know how they said there's no pets allowed on board? Ah! And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. A proof of your crimes is before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It wasn't on the other side. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could she possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps. What you would have to? It would have to be an infant. One slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless what is this? Coop Doyle betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refused to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of the newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article. It's the baby. Oh my god. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Why is this so extra? What the fuck? Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. She's dead now. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova? What was that? Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Elementsky, whatever that means. Do you think he read the middle pages? No, he's an idiot. Look at her, she's like, I don't know. That wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing about so much, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. How am I tired? Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions, would you mind? Not at all, go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, will be able, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. I don't think that's how that works. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Willett does look a lot more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina? Indeed, a truly startling revelation. I don't think that's what he said, is it? I don't think he said revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Have you been enjoying the man costume? It has been an experience this whole time, honestly. I don't know what frustrations I was gonna have, but then they were like, hey, here's Herlock Sholmes. Have fun. And that's what it's been like this whole time. Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would just be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to consort oneself into the confines of that small case. I don't think so. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Isn't he just from Lupin? Is Arsene from Lupin? It would make sense, because that was all about Phantom Thieves, wasn't it? Arsene is Lupin? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, well, we were right then. Mr. Naruhodo, something occurs to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention that his logic, and his logic that seems a little off. Your idea of a little, maybe a little off itself, Mr. Sato. I'm so used to saying Mr. right now. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. It's just one or two keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? What kind of game is this? Switch some keywords in his deductions? Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. Precisely the thought I was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. Why did I give him that laugh? It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. Again? My wrists? Oh. Oh! Where are your handcuffs? Wow, that was surprising for once. Oh, this game. I hate this. I was like, why? Just so I can see the handcuffs on my wrists again. Oh, man. How did... Okay, Goose. Thank you. See you later. Yeah, I definitely was. I felt it may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. Man. Don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh, God. Can we be done already? Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Only the cool ones be staying here. Obviously, have you seen this this man? So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylet, obviously what catches your eyes in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. I guess if it's an exclamation point, that's already correct, right? That's my guess, at least. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? Well, I mean, it's not getting us any sense to correct anything anyway. The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport, obviously. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylet, either. Back in my day, which means I suppose the deduction's wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruto-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylet. I wonder if it's really his beard that is intended to use the shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction a bit better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest up in your capable hands, Naruto-san. I'd be like, eh? Eh? What? Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylet going to use those enormous shears for? The fucking newspaper. Why can't I, can I not look down? Oh, wait. Eh? Oh! He's the ballerina! I thought it was the newspaper, it's not. We did hear a female scream because it was her all along. What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No, the color's not the point. The point is, what's it doing at the back of Mr. Roylet's head? And how's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunning. It's so stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. Isn't that it? Isn't that the correction?
Yes!
We're just like walking around this man. Hey, wait a minute. No, not me too. I am an idiot. Don't follow in Sholmes' footsteps. You're on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. When they both do it together, they just both look like idiots. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. Oh. This is the Ace Attorney way. You are not a man at all, you're a woman, and judging by the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no! If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In fact, it's the other one. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? He definitely is. Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. It's strictly business. Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he picked out doesn't fit the facts that, at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylet is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather she, can't possibly be the merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's search the evidence for something else, something that fits the fact as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try and hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Well, thanks for just showing it to me. Oh, hold on. Do I have to look at it to present it? No. I guess I just show it.
Yes!
Yes! Hey, bing. Is it getting it wrong? No, turn it around, stupid. Oh yes, I have. Sorry, my bad. I guess that didn't work, did it? No! No! If I did what you did, then how is this any different? How am I worse than you? Ah! Alright, hold on. I need to examine the other side. Okay. Boo. Boo! How dare they make me wrong when I'm right? Turn the paper over! It's like that stupid judge again. Man. Alright, hold on.
Yes!
Oh, god damn it! I did it again! I pressed the wrong button! No! No! Fuck! Excuse me. Don't click it. Oh, God. This is an interesting. Have you found something relevant? Naruhodo-san. Well, no. Yes, I have. Turn it in. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? It's weird that, like, I guess if you didn't look at this earlier, then they wouldn't describe anything. I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Ah! Way to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. God damn it. I'm angry that I already missed 2. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reportedly missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. What? A what? Oh, yeah, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance on all ports with the sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. How much was the number? What number? 20,000, I think. Not even going to dignify with that response, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh god, of course. I shouldn't have looked at it forever ago. Now I'm just an idiot. Okay. Sorry. Present that, please.
Yes.
Only 270. Well, this is the 1880s. Maybe, yeah, inflation. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. This was Meiji. This is like 1887, I think. Yeah. That's right. You fit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. That hand movement he did. It would appear that we are finally able to address you by your true name. What happens if I get this wrong? Do we just get evicted and it's game over? Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina. I just said ballerina. You know what? That's just how it is. Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! Oh, she's dead. Oh! Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well. 7,000. Oh, man. Oh. 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 Cute. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Just cross that out. A ballerina on the run. Alright. She was kidnapped by herself. Now as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crimes is before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is the ballerina. She's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside of the traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something here, else here that shows what this woman's up to. I can't see things. Oh. Obviously. Wah! Wow, look at that dazzling tiara. I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? He would look beautiful in it, I think. Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. She would look good with it too. Maybe if it were green or pink though. No, I think the blue would be fine. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Y'all are stupid as fuck, aren't you?
Yes!
Pew! But there's something in the case, right? It was moving. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah! I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in the newspaper article. Gotta spoon feed the babies. The babies. And if the reporting is to be believed, it is an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Why do I make him scream like that all the time? Her hat. I have no one, no family, no friends, and I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. What? She must be extremely lonely. An Earl of Prussia? Is that what you said? Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. She's... What? He's trying to figure it out. There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? Definitely the case. You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. Is it reasonable to conclude, therefore, there exists some reason why you wish it would oh my god, it to remain closed? Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case even before I ever laid eyes on them. I had stuttered for a sec. Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Eh? Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written on the books on the shelf. Eh? He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would be written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Could it be the door? No, it could be this. No animals. I meant to just say yes, because I already know. Oh, become bug. Okay, Schwartz, I will become bug. I will be a bug who practices law. Alright, that's definitely what she was looking at. It has to be. If it's not, I'm very confused. Hurry up! I don't care what y'all are saying. I don't care. Hurry up. She has... Ah! Sorry.
Yes!
This! Yeah! I knew it! Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. Hi. Show us what's inside! Show me the cat! I don't know if there's a cat in there. I'm excited thinking it could be, though. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Watch it be a... wow. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case. They're gonna say completely different things. Oh, I thought they were both gonna say different answers. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rule of passage? A pet! Ooh, ah! Well. A pet gun. You're right. Show me the kitty. I don't know why I'm assuming it's a cat. Elementary! My score is a 0 because I lost 2 points. Ugh, God, this was too much. Show me the animal! So clearly you aren't who you said you were. No, I'm not Grimesby Roylet. Right. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Bureau is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So if that was just you about to cut off, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was that let out the scream we heard outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. I can't. Hold on. Why would you do that? What makes you think I can do this? Here. Does that work? Antenna shake. Or like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? Oh, she's not very good at, I guess another language, and that's what this is. So no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man, I see. Yes, master. I put on the fur hat and fake beard, and then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if it didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fast as possible. Why didn't she put her hair on the inside of the jacket, I wonder? I picked up the scissors in my hand and at that precise moment, we walked into and through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Oh, he's still angry he didn't get to knock it down. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You are right, it's my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Show me! Please. Don't tell anyone if the captain finds out. If you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Finally, we're getting to the point. Yes, alright. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes' wasn't it something Sholmes' grace deduction? Yes, it's certainly something. I didn't say any of that right. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. God, she seems stressed out now. No, I did not say it right. The order of words was definitely not right in that sentence. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. Don't tell me. My... No! Your hands are cuffed again. No, put them off. Take them off. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? It's so mean. There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Nahodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Ugh, can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band in Cosmo-sama wrote about in his diary really was. I thought she was going to talk about what's in the case, because I really want to know. What's in it? What's in the case? Show me! Let me see. Don't touch! I would tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say? Forbid it. Oh, sorry. As well, you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. I want to see! Poking around in a young lady's private belongings, neither shall I allow it. Ugh. Hypocrite! Show me what's in the damn box! What's this, though? That's weird that it won't let me look at it. Ah! I guess nothing is important here. What? How is... I definitely have not looked at that plate on the floor. Okay, hold on, actually. I think this is a perfect time to stop. I feel like if I start talking, we're gonna get stuck into something. I do not know what the heck this is. I do not know what to expect of it, so I have no idea how much longer we're gonna go. Unfortunately. So I feel like y'all starting a prediction was not really good, because I made plans with Cheru, unfortunately. Oats? What's oats? Oh, excuse me, I hit my mic again. Alright, just in case. Alright, well, thank you all for coming. I hope you had fun. I had an experience, and that's for sure. Let's go give some bug a raid. All my friends are gone, and they didn't raid me. Let's go see. Oh, you know what? Cheru's playing Among Us, so, I mean, why not? I was Colonel Cherry. Alright, well, let's go say hi to Cheru. Thank you all for coming. I hope you had fun. I did. I can't wait to play again, but I think I'm going to be changing up my schedule just a little bit, so it might not be next week, but we'll see. I might play... I might repeat games on my changing schedules. We'll see, we'll see. I love you all. Oh, wait, hold on. Thank you all for coming. And I'll be live again tomorrow. What am I playing tomorrow? Layers of Fear, right? I think... Do I play the scary games on Saturday or Sunday? Is it Layers of Fear or Persona I'm playing? Okay, so Layers of Fear tomorrow at 1 p.m. CST, and that's also my last day of work. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye!